Hi, my name's Suzanne Ellison, and if you're listening to this video, then that tells me that you have downloaded my free PDF, Anxiety to Calm in 5 Minutes. Now, you will also know that the method that I use is called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and that has been responsible for me getting my anxiety under control after being anxious for over 20 years, as well as my depression. But for the purpose of this video, we're just going to go with anxiety for the moment, because that is something that really affects your life when you're out in public or on a day-to-day basis. Whereas for me, my understanding and how I think of depression is something that's a constant there in the background all the time. So I wanted, because you can also use this. Yes, we're dealing with anxiety, but you can also use it for panic attacks as well. Okay, so first I want to do is show you the tapping points. There is a diagram in the PDF, but I want to make sure that you feel confident about exactly what the tapping points are and how you tap on them. So I start with the top of the head, and I use 3 to 4 fingers and very gently just tap in a little circle or just up and down is your tapping point. Then you start in the front of the eyebrow. It can be this eyebrow, it can be that eyebrow, or you can do both eyebrows. Okay, I do 2 fingers and I do one, just the one eyebrow. As long as you're tapping on a acupoint, a tapping point, that's fine. If you want to tap on both of them, it's great. If you just want to tap on one, you will still get a benefit. The second one is on your temple. So it's corner of your eye, come back a bit, and there's a flat spot there. So you tap there. Then you want to tap on your below your eye socket where there's a little bit of flesh, and you just tap gently there. The dip of the nose, the dip of the chin, and then you come down, dip of your neck, come down, and you come across to the top. And again, you can tap both hands. You can tap with one hand, or what I do is I cross over. So those are your tapping points. Now there is another one that's under the arm, but a lot of people they feel it's uncomfortable, so they don't like doing it. So I don't include it most of the time. Now I leave it out. There is also what's called the karate chop point, and that's here and there. Okay, now this you can tap under the table and is discreet, and it's normally you tap here before you go into the whole what you're tapping on, anxiety. But because I want to make this as quick and as fast as possible, I don't want to go into the whole explanation of the setup, that this is the main tapping point where you do the setup before you then tap on all the other points. I want to include this as one of the major points that you can tap on discreetly when you start to feel, if you are anxious or if you start to feel anxious or have a panic attack. Okay, so that's another one. It's called the karate chop point. So those are the tapping points. I personally, when I'm in public or I need to tap if I feel anxious about anything, then this is my favorite. I know other people find this one, or as I say, under the table or down in front of you where it's, it's not obvious. You can tap on your karate chop point and you just keep tapping there. You just keep tapping away very gently, and you create a bit of a rhythm. Okay, people say, how many times do I tap? It doesn't matter. It tends to go with each statement you say. You tend to change the tapping point, as you'll see as when I take you through a tapping script in a minute. But for now, whatever you do, it's fine. You're just tapping on a point and then moving on, tapping and moving on, tapping and moving on. Okay, so let's start with, I want to show you how to tap for when you start to feel anxious about something, and then how to tap if you're actually having an attack and you have enough clarity to be able to just try and get yourself down a little bit. Now what you would normally do when I'm working with somebody is I say, okay, that situation you've just described makes you upset. On a scale of 0 to 10, how upset? Okay, but if you just want to tap to get your anxiety down, from anxiety to calm in 5 minutes, you just need to start tapping. Forget about what the rating is, okay? You just want to get tapping. So you want to have a go-to spot. Or if you're at home and you're starting to feel anxious, you can then go through all the points, okay? And just what you say is all this anxiety, all this anxiety, all this anxiety I'm feeling. So you focus on the fact that you're anxious, all this anxiety. And then you want to be specific about what you're feeling anxious about. All this anxiety about having to go to a social event that I don't want to go to. All this anxiety. Everybody's going to be looking at me. Everybody's going to be staring at me. I know they're going to be judging me. All this anxiety I feel. All this anxiety I feel about. Now, you put in what's specific to you about what you're feeling anxious about, okay? All this anxiety. So we're focusing on the anxiety. Now you say how you choose to feel. I choose to release. And it's important that you use the word choose, okay? You don't want to go from one extreme to the other. All this anxiety, I have no anxiety. No, I choose to release this anxiety. I choose to release all this anxiety. Or I choose to release some of this anxiety. Sometimes going in increments is better than saying, it's gone. I choose to release all of it. Or I choose to reduce my anxiety. I would say, me personally, I would say I choose to release my anxiety. I choose to release this anxiety. So can you see how every time I say a statement, I change my tapping point? But the tapping just keeps going, okay? So I choose to release all this anxiety about having to go out to a social event. I choose to release all this anxiety in this moment. And this is what's important, because you're getting anxious about something that's going to happen. So what I want you to say is, in this moment, I am safe. I have nothing to feel anxious about. In this moment, because in this moment, no matter, even though I don't know where you are, if you're able to follow this video, then that tells me you're doing this video. So in this moment, with you watching this video, you are safe. I am safe. And that's what you're telling yourself. You're lowering your cortisol levels and you're reaffirming where you are right now. Because anxiety means you are being threatened. And in fact, you're not. Not in the way that the anxiety is supposed to help you fight or flight. You can't fight a bill or run away from a bill. You can't fight a social event, or you can run away from it. But if you really have to go to it, then you just want to lower that anxiety about it. So if you're going to an event, I choose to feel calm. I choose to feel calm. There is nothing threatening. Nobody's going to threaten me. The event is not threatening. I can do this. I can go to this event and stay calm. I choose to release this anxiety about going to this social event, or going to my mother's birthday party, or meeting somebody new, or whatever it is that's specific to you. Be specific in your description and slot it in when you say, I choose to release this anxiety about. And you just keep going through the points. Okay? I choose to release all this anxiety that I'm feeling at the moment. I have nothing to feel anxious about in this moment. Okay? I choose to release all this anxiety. So that's what you would say if you're sitting at home, or if you're starting to think things and you can feel yourself starting to get anxious. If you are in a full-blown attack, if you're out in public, or you're in a situation even in your home, and you feel yourself going into a full-blown attack, then just tap. Just tap, just tap, and say, in this moment, I'm safe. In this moment, I'm safe. In this moment, I'm safe. And then if you calm down enough that you can say the words, because often I've had people who are their attack is that bad, they literally cannot say the words, and so I say it for them. And if you're with somebody, they can say it for you. You can keep tapping, they can tap with you, and they can say it for you, and it will still help you. So in this moment, I choose to reduce my anxiety. I choose to reduce my anxiety. What's really important, I find, is to Ground yourself and say, in this moment, I'm safe. Because invariably you are not physically being threatened, okay? Your threat is in your thoughts, in your mind. So in this moment, I'm safe. In this moment, I'm safe. I choose to release this anxiety. I choose to reduce this anxiety. I choose to feel calm. I choose to feel calm. If you're in a place where you don't feel you can tap, obviously, tap here, down, and just tap. I choose to feel calmer. I choose to release all this anxiety. I choose to release some of this anxiety. Okay? Whatever it is, make it positive and focus in on what it is you're feeling. I choose to release all this anxiety. I choose to release all this anxiety. Deep breath. Blow it out. Blow out all that negativity. Okay? Now, this is where anxiety to calm in 5 minutes. What you will find if you now think to yourself, okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much calmer do I feel? Okay, now I'm at a 5 or it's going down to a 4. Okay? That's what you want. You find that halfway mark is a place where you can start to think clearly again, because when you become anxious, you block off your logical thinking. You don't have logical thinking because you don't need to be logical. You just need to run. So when you start to lower your anxiety, you can start to think, you can start to rationalize, and you can say, right, you're exhausted. You've had that pump of adrenaline you didn't use. So you now feel wobbly and shaky and exhausted. But you still, I choose to feel calm. And this is where you can then bring in, I choose to feel calm. Take a deep breath. Blow it all out. I choose to feel calm. I'm safe. I choose to feel calm because I am safe. In this moment, I am safe. In this moment, I am safe. And whatever it was, I am safe at the moment and I will deal with it in later, Or I choose to put it in a box. If you're in a place where you can, I've just done this out of habit. Of working with people, I've gone back into the whole sequence, but normally I recommend that you just tap on one spot, okay? Because it creates a rhythm, it creates a vibration in you, it lowers your cortisols. There's a lot going on. Let me tell you, there's a lot going on. So if you just tap, you're focusing on tapping. So you're taking your mind, that's that pattern interrupt. You're taking your mind off of what was making you anxious, and now you're tapping. And that beat is creating a vibration which goes up to your amygdala, which lowers your cortisol levels, but it also creates, it's I wouldn't go so far as to say it's music, but it's creating a beat and a rhythm, and that's having an effect on you. Okay? And it's important that you take those deep breaths, because when you get anxious, you go into short breathing and you want to let all that anxiety out, all that negativity. Okay? And it helps to process all the cortisol and adrenaline you just flushed through your system and didn't use. You didn't run away, you didn't fight. So you flooded your body with adrenaline and cortisol it can't use. So you want to get it processed out your body now. You don't want to hold on to it. You want to lower that anxiety and just, I choose to feel calm. I choose to feel calm. Okay? So that literally is it. You do that, and within 5 minutes, you will feel calmer. Will you feel calm enough? I don't know, because you need to be specific to the words, to the situation. And it will make you calm. What you then need to do is keep tapping. Once you feel that little bit calmer, keep tapping and say, I choose to release this remaining anxiety that I feel. Okay, because you've released some of it. Now you keep tapping. And you can breathe better. And you feel calmer. And you can just keep saying to yourself, I choose to release this remaining anxiety. I choose to release this remaining anxiety. And if you start tapping before you go into a full-blown sort of situation of anxiety, like if you wake up in the morning and you're still feeling anxious, and you wake up feeling anxious, shall I say, you can tap as soon as you wake up. Tap and acknowledge that anxiety and say, you know what? There's nothing, I've just woken up. There's nothing I can do right now. So I choose to release this anxiety. I choose to release this anxiety, and I will deal with it later this morning or later this afternoon. Have a conversation. It doesn't have to be, if you just have a conversation with yourself, it will have an impact because you're telling yourself what you want to have happen. And that's what's important, to be very specific about how you feel, about what it is. If you don't know, that was the other thing. If you don't know what you feel anxious about, then what you do is you say, I choose to release all this anxiety. I choose to release all this anxiety. I choose to feel calmer. I don't know what it is, but in this moment, I'm okay. So I choose to release all this anxiety until I can figure out why I feel anxious. In this moment, I choose to release all this anxiety. I choose to feel safe. I'm in my chair, I'm in my house, I'm in my car, and I'm safe. So I choose to feel safe. Okay? And what you're doing is you're just rooting and grounding yourself in the reality of where you are, and not in the thoughts that you're having that are responsible for you feeling anxious. You're bringing yourself and grounding and rooting yourself in the moment, in the present moment. And that alone should bring your anxiety down. And just keep tapping. Deep breaths, exhale, and just keep tapping. And you will. And then give yourself a stop and just breathe and just relax. And then say to yourself, on a scale of 0 to 10, because now you're calmer, you can do this. There's nothing to compare it to, but you can give yourself a rating. And if you're not below a 5, then I would say just keep tapping. I choose to release this remaining anxiety. And you'll find that it will come down to a 2 or a 3. Okay? I hope this helps. And as I said in the PDF, this is a short-term, what I call a short-term emergency use of tapping. If you want a long-term solution to find the cause of your anxiety and to address it, or your depression, then use the links in the PDF, and we can look at taking this further to the next level, to a deeper level of addressing the cause, so that you no longer have this chronic anxiety. You put anxiety back in the box, which every human has. And we all experience anxiety, but it's there for a purpose. This anxiety that I'm talking about is anxiety that's out of control, where you feel anxious about every single little decision and thing that happens in your life. That is not normal. That is not what everybody experiences. Okay? So if you want to stop feeling that extreme anxiety, then keep reading the PDF, and you will find the links and the information for us to delve a bit deeper into your specific situation.